we are taking the opportunity of Digital Day being here to announce a new report that's coming from the International Integrated Reporting Council on the matter of technology. How do you use technology when you're building systems and processes inside your organization that would enable integrated reporting, integrated thinking? And I'm going to invite Wesley Schulte to come up. Wesley is a consultant at Finext, and Finext is one of a number of companies that have been collaborating with the IRC on putting together this report. And I guess I should say right up front that the report was aimed at CIOs, and it's available online today at the IRC website. But the report was aimed at chief information officers with the view of saying, what do you need to do to get your systems ready to work in an environment where your CFO is asking you all sorts of questions about how we're faring with this capital and that capital and so on. And about a year ago, we had produced another report which was aimed at CFOs to say, when you're thinking about incorporating integrated reporting into your organization, are there technology issues that you have to pay attention to? Are there informational issues that you need to worry about? And the answer that came back was that really, if in the past we were only interested in financial performance, if we were only interested in financial performance in the short term, but really with an integrated report, we are thinking about a broader set of issues. We're thinking about financial performance, but we're also looking at environmental issues and social issues, human capital issues, et cetera, et cetera. And we're looking across multiple timelines of the short term, medium term, long term. The information challenge is huge. And so we started asking the participants in the technology initiative, and Wesley is representing them, how do you go about putting an information system in place that enables an organization to keep track of these multiple capitals and so on? So Wesley, welcome to this Digital Day 2018. But I want to give you the opportunity to, I think it'll come on whenever it's ready. But I want to give you the opportunity to introduce why you joined the Tech Initiative and what this report is about.
Yeah. Thank you, Jyoti. Because does everyone know what integrated reporting is? Because did you give an introduction on integrated reporting? No,
well, I haven't. So then we can ask the question.
Yeah.
How many people do not know what integrated reporting is? Okay, that's the person who doesn't want to answer the question. Yeah. Only a few. So perhaps we can...
So we can assume that integrated reporting is, well known then, but yeah. Maybe it's a little...
Okay, well, how would you summarize integrated reporting?
Well, I would first say integrated reporting is not on only reporting, but on integrated thinking. And it's about how a company creates value over the short term, middle term, and longer term. And creates value not only financial value, as Jyoti just mentioned, but also on your other capitals. And the IRC framework is naming 6 different capitals. And 5 capitals besides financial. So there's human capital, there's social capital, manufactured capital. There are a lot of capitals besides financial capital. And integrated reporting enables you, and integrated thinking, to not only focus on the short-term and financial capital, but also the other ones. Because we see, and I also see at my customers at Finext, that a lot of companies try to report and think on other capitals than only financial, because investors, the world is asking for that. But they're really struggling how to do that. And the IRC framework helps you with that.
So I guess there are probably, what, about 1,500, more than 1,500 listed companies that are now using the integrated reporting framework.
Yeah.
But you're saying it's a challenge to do it. I see companies who produce a report quite easily.
Yeah.
What's the difficult part?
I think the difficult part is, well, I think there are a number of difficult parts, but the main things are, I think, getting the numbers. And maybe for financials, those are less cumbersome than non-financials, because you need to have data on health and safety, on customer satisfaction, on NPS scores, employee scores, all those kind of things.
I think new kind of metrics that typical reports don't track.
Relatively new. When you look at financial numbers and financial standards, they're out there for decades or maybe hundreds of years. And if you look at non-financials, those are there for the last maybe 20 or 10 years or something. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges, and I think also the challenge on the non-financial or pre-financial part is combining numbers and narratives, because data is not only about numbers, but it's also about the story behind it. And to combine those, that's also difficult, and I'll see that, that's a challenge for a lot of companies.
So is there a way to summarize what this report is about?
The technology primer, you mean?
The technology primer.
Well, I think we have a slide for that. Because as Jyoti mentioned, it's a report for the CIO, Chief Information Officer, and all the ones that are responsible for IT in an organization. But I think it's also important for a lot of other people in organizations that are interested in digital, digitalization. Next slide. This is the one, the launch of the paper. The website you can go through.
Oops.
This one. This summarizes the paper we worked on with the whole working group. Some of them are here as well. For I think the past 1.5 years, together with some software vendors, with consultancy firms, with Big Four, and we basically conducted 4 steps in for the CIO or the IT department within an organization to really support integrated reporting and integrated thinking, to support reporting on value creation and control that. And the first step is incorporate multi-capital data. That's a really important step. And as we just discussed, it might be a challenge for non-financials. It might be more challenging because there are no really, there are standards, but there are a lot of standards. For financials, there are, of course, also a lot of standards, but they might be less. And they also might be not in one system, but in various systems. But also not systems, Excel sheets, for example. And people go back and forth with that. They are emailing it. Well, talk about security, that's not really safe. And so you have to really take into account where is that data, where is it coming from. So that's a really important step where the IT department comes in. The second step is undertake enterprise modeling, because you are giving context to that data in that step. So how does your company create value? What is the connectivity between all that data you came up with in that first step? Between the non-financials and the financials, or the pre-financials and the financials, and all the capitals. What is the connectivity between it? How does it relate? And the third step, if you get the multi-capital data right, and you get a comprehensive enterprise model, you get to the third step, and that's improved analytics and reporting. And if you get the first two steps right, then it's more easy to come to a integrated report, and I think more important, improved analytics on your organization. So what are the dependencies between the capitals, and how can you control it, and how do you steer on it? And the fourth step, I would say every step is important, but the fourth step, it's an iterative process. So it's not the same as the security one, that we have to do it the first time right. This is a process you have to go through over and over again. You have to do it not only once a year, but a couple of times a year, a couple of times a quarter. Maybe go on to continuous accounting, continuous reporting, because this is something that's not that easy for a company to come with all that, to go from data to information to really combine it and come to good insights. I think that's mainly what's in the report.
And so really you're talking about extending beyond reporting into how to manage the business across the broader set of issues that a business might want to be thinking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there an example you can provide of a company that's doing this sort of thing?
Yeah, there are already a couple of examples of companies. One of them is Royal BAM Group. It's a construction company in the Netherlands. They do property development. They build bridges. Well, they're one of the largest construction companies. And what they did, they start filling a database with non-financial data, because they thought, well, there should be a connection between our non-financials and financials, but they couldn't get their grip on what really the correlation was. So they start filling a database with fuel, with incidents, waste, production waste. That's at a construction company that can be really big. And then they started to analyze that data and connect it to the financials. And what they discovered is that a leading indicator for financial success of a project was not carbon, or was not the amount of fuel they produce, or that might be efficient, but if the fuel is less, but it was the waste production. The waste production was really really predicted the financial success of a project before they had the financial figures for it. So that really helped them in their decisions, to really make better informed decisions, and really go to the project controllers of that specific project, where they said, well, we think that your project is not performing well because we see that and that in your project. It's producing a lot of waste. You don't know the financials yet, but you can already predict what the financial success will be. So that's just one of the few examples out there.
I remember a conversation with Luka Mucic, who's the CFO at SAP, and he talked about declaring important metrics in a business as being things like employee satisfaction and women in senior management. And he took a lot of flack for putting that kind of information out about the business, because people said, is this trustworthy information? You know, why can't you just concentrate on financial information? And he said it was absolutely important to do this because it changed the conversation that was happening inside the company. They had to change the conversation so it wasn't just about financials anymore. And you have to start somewhere. And he said this was a great place to start, was just to get a couple of issues started. And they started with employee engagement and customer satisfaction. And it became the heart of a whole new way of thinking about how the business worked. So So this report is available today, and I want to thank you and a number of companies. I know Herman is here from Atos. All of the Big Four were involved in this. Companies like SAP were involved in putting this together. And it's available for download from the IRC website. I want to thank you for sharing the insights from it. And I can happily declare to you it's lunchtime. And I mean, that's a positive thing, isn't it? And so we have, yeah, thank you very much, Leslie.